WCBM and WCBM.com. The Jimmy Mathis Show starts now.
Welcome to Hour 2 of the Jimmy Mathis Show. Phone number 410-WCBM 680, 410-922-6680. Follow me on Twitter at Jimmy Mathis Show. Brand new website, JimmyMathisShow.com. One of the Achilles heels of the program in the past was not being able to hear the program. If you did not hear it live, go to Jimmy Mathis Show. We have the podcast. We have videos. It's also a great way to interact with the show, so check out JimmyMathisShow.com. Kevin Leary running for the 8th District, joining us live in studio, along with WCBM political contributor Tyrone Keys. Kevin, how you doing, my friend?
I'm doing good. How about you?
I'm hanging in there. Tyrone, always a pleasure having you in.
Always a pleasure to be here, Jimmy, and I wanted to just take a moment and appreciate you because something happened earlier this week with the guy that went in Starbucks and he demanded a free cup of coffee for reparations. Now, it turns out that this guy was a conservative. He's a conservative comedian. Right? Yeah. And he was trying to display the stupidity of this whole thing. Okay, and he made a good point. He said, they don't want me on the air. I was not able to get on the air to talk about conservative issues as a black man because no one wants to hand the mic to a black conservative because it kind of disrupts the narrative that's out there. Okay, and so I just want to take time to appreciate you for allowing me to be conservative, okay, on the airwaves. Okay, and you have done so and opened your mic to me for what's it been? Maybe 4 years,
about 4 years now.
Right. So I just wanted to let everybody know. I think that it deserves some public acknowledgement, and I appreciate that because this is a narrative that they don't want. They being the media powers that be don't want advertised. Okay.
Well, they don't want conservatism in general to be advertised.
Absolutely not.
And I've given you this accolade over the years. I think you're one of the best in the business. It has nothing to do with race, obviously. You know what's funny about the comedian on the Starbucks thing? When I first saw that, I saw the video on Drudge, and I had never seen this comedian before. The way that it was being reported on Twitter was, here's a black guy that's looking for reparations via coffee. All right, that was the way that was being reported. So I looked at it, and I watched the whole 3 minutes, and it was funny because it didn't. And again, I don't know who the guy is. At the time, this was before he was on Laura Ingram's show or any of that. Okay, I'm watching it for the first time. Like, there's no nastiness to it, right? Even when the guy's like, "This is justice," he's doing it with a smile on his face, which is probably why the woman was so accommodating to begin with. And then I find out that he's a conservative, and it just sort of explains why there's no edge to it from the very beginning. All right,
he's not no vitriol in it. Right. But I think he did a good job in kind of exposing. That thing where, hey, he can get some airtime if he's doing this. But if he wants to talk about conservative economic principles or your Second Amendment right as a black guy, that they don't kind of shut that down.
That would also explain why he hasn't had a whole lot of airtime since they found out who
Absolutely.
he was.
Yeah.
Well, no, you should be thanking me, okay? If you're black and you're conservative, you get shot down immediately.
Hey, we've had it happen on your show where people have tried to come
there
at
have
me
been
and you've
more
had to hit the
racial
dump
terms
button.
that have been used against you, okay? I mean, you've been. I'm being dead serious. Right? This is going more back to the old house, but you've had more racial bombs thrown at you than I ever have. Okay, when being called a racist and an Uncle Tom and all kinds of deplorable.
And I love the Uncle Tom one. I love it because it proves that they don't read when they throw that charge out. Because if you read Harriet Beecher Stowe's Uncle Tom's Cabin, Tom was actually a hero that put his life at risk to help other slaves. So it's just like that what they want to say is Uncle Remus, but they're too ignorant to actually read and understand the literature and the source of where it's coming from.
Well, even Uncle Remus had a pretty good message to him, didn't he?
Well, he was, he
That's Song of the South.
Right, because they didn't have any political overtones in that.
But even Uncle Remus was, you can't run away from your problems. Sometimes you got to go home and face the music, and sometimes life just sort of stinks.
Yeah, pretty much.
Right. I mean, there were
pretty much.
There were parts of that movie, obviously, back in the day that were offensive. Back when I had money, I used to go to Walt Disney World, and they have the Flume ride, which is tied into the Song of the South thing. And, like all the attractions at Disney have a theme to them. So you have Aladdin and you have Dumbo. And so we're standing in line with my oldest to get on the Splash Mountain ride. And there's this little girl in front of me, and she doesn't recognize any of the characters.
Okay.
And she's like, "Daddy, I don't for any of any of these characters. He's like, yeah, Disney kind of likes to put this one in the back.
Right.
How's the campaign trail going, Kevin?
Busy. It's going good. We're working hard.
Be careful,
knocking on doors.
be careful what you wish for. So you're Parkville, Perry Hall, that area?
Parkville, Perry Hall, Rosedale, Overley, Hillendale. A little bit of Southeast Towson.
Why are you running?
Because I am tired of the same old in this state. We need more conservatives down in Annapolis.
That's your land.
Yeah, we need more conservatives, but we also need more people who have actually done things
Let me
in
tell
life.
you. Let me tell you something that you better be very careful of, and I'm being very serious about this. Maryland does not want conservatives.
Oh.
The party does not want conservatives.
Right.
We still have one party rule in this state, whether people believe that or not. There's very few people of the local establishment that are willing, not only willing to stand up for conservative values, that will get within a stone's throw of any candidate that preaches it. This isn't sour grapes. I'm not just talking about like Chris West and
right.
and all that stuff. Okay, but they fear it. They absolutely fear it. I mean, you have a handful that will back it, but for the most part, even the Republicans out there that are currently serving, it's still a tax and spend methodology. It's a lot of cowards down in Annapolis. A lot of people that are very afraid to stand up and actually defend anything.
We saw that on that gun on that red flag
on the red flag
legislation.
thing. Absolutely.
Yeah. And you got legislators coming out saying things like, well, I didn't vote for it in the third iteration.
Right.
Yeah, but you voted for an iteration of a bill that's designed to not only attack my Second Amendment rights, but it's got a lot of due process problems in there too.
That was why I ran, Kevin. Okay,
Yeah.
to actually put a conservative in the 42nd. I was looking at Chris West, and he's talking about reasonable gun control. I'm like, can you please articulate what that is? How much more reasonable gun control do you need?
I think
He's
we have
cut
reasonable
off.
gun control.
We absolutely have reasonable gun control.
We already have it.
Right. So I don't know where he stands on this red flag thing. Talking the reason why you reached out to me. We'll get into education shortly. Not denouncing Common Core, which was the progression of No Child Left Behind. Talking about massive infrastructure spending. These people that don't understand what conservatism is. I mean, Chris West would be the greatest example of a coward out there that doesn't want to go toe to toe when it comes to fighting a conservative. And I get it. I mean, on his homepage, he's talking about, look, the great thing is the Republican Party can smooth out the edges of the Democrats and the other way around. No. Okay. Grow a set, speak for what you believe. And conservatism has always been a winning strategy.
Right.
And that's the reason why I have you in, because I want to get behind people that actually embrace and believe in a conservative narrative. And Tyrone, the reason why we've been doing this for 4 years.
Right.
And can explain
right.
it. Okay, I'm not looking to, to become, Michael Bush's lapdog.
Yeah, me either.
And I would ask West and others like him to give me an example of when the left has compromised. Okay, they're not in that business.
They don't. They don't. It comes back to Tyrone. The word is appeasement. I mean, Chris West would have been like a big supporter of Munich. Okay, it doesn't work. It's what we were talking about earlier. Okay, with Stephanie Rawlings Blake. Give them room to destroy.
Right.
Appeasement doesn't work. Have a set core, foundation. Have some standards. Have some beliefs. And the problem is, most of these people just don't.
Well, I agree. We need to stand up for our rights. We have to. I mean, if we don't have somebody to stand up for our rights, they're going to be gone. So we can't let it happen. We just can't, and that's why I'm running.
It's funny. I'm not going to mention the politician's name, but I was with a very well-known local politician at Brent Services. This was months ago, and this was not a personal attack, but I called Chris West an empty suit. Okay, I said there's no it factor to the guy. Okay, and there's not. So it got back to him. The conversation in the category, be careful what you say in a public. Obviously, I'm not ashamed of these words because I'm repeating them right now on a 50,000-watt radio station. But the way that hurt his little feelings. Believe in something. Stand up for it. I'm being dead serious about this, okay? Because let me tell you something. As you move forward on this, you're going to notice the party really does not want to get behind conservatism, especially in Maryland, because they believe that the only path to victory is becoming Democratic light.
Right. And I would encourage every Republican that calls him or herself a conservative to watch the Netflix documentary Wiener. It's about Anthony Weiner, okay? And for all this guy's foibles, this guy was an attack dog,
Yeah, it was.
unapologetic.
Yep.
Okay? And if he hadn't gotten to this little picadillo with his, strange predilections,
When the wiener gets into a picadillo, it's a pickle.
he would have been a rising star. I mean, the guy never apologized for anything. He never compromised on anything. And that is the typical liberal methodology.
And he came up short.
Well, it was cold in Congress. Like I said.
Aren't you glad you came in, Kevin?
Oh, just great.
You wanted to talk. I'm going to let you talk about education real quick because you have an event coming up next week. And
Yes, I
then
do.
you thought it was bad the last 10 minutes. Wait till I talk about the Ravens because we're really going to take.
Oh Lord.
I do care about education. I do care about the 10th Amendment. I do believe that the nationalization of our educational system is one of the greatest travesties out there right now.
Yeah. Well, I'm part of a group called the Parent to Parent Network,
Mhm.
and what we're doing is we're trying to fight violence and bullying in our schools, and part of that comes down to the discipline that's not happening in our schools.
Right.
You have the same kids who are doing the same things over and over again, and they're not getting any kind of discipline out of it. And the victims of these crimes are being moved out of
Right.
their schools, out of their rooms. They're being double victimized. They're victimized by the bully, and then they're victimized by the system. So that's what we're fighting. And my event next week is going to be all about education. We're going to have 2 members of the Board of Education there speaking, and also Josh Landers is a partner in Parent to Parent Network. He'll be there, and he'll speak as well on behalf of Parent to Parent Network.
Well, look, I agree with you that you have a political liability coming along with that. With that message, but I'm with you.
Well,
I mean, it's impossible. I mean, forget expelling kids. I mean, you can't hold kids back right now.
right. Well,
That's why I'm looking at all the students that walked out the other day protesting gun violence and asking for more gun control. I got to tell you, if I was a student right now in high school, I'd be pretty ticked off that when I graduate to 12th grade, I still need remedial classes
Correct.
to go to community college.
Right.
I'd be protesting that.
and most of them don't even know how to write a check. That's the problem. They teach to test in our school system. They don't teach them how to live. They don't teach them life skills anymore. You're taught how to answer questions on a standardized test. That's what school is.
Well, I've been saying this for years. Not everybody is programmed to go to college. We started demonizing, vocational schools
Right.
and trade jobs, and that's a shame because
Mhm.
a lot of those are small business owners, by the way, and people that
Correct.
go on to do very, very well. And I think that's a lot of the frustration that Bernie Sanders tapped into. You have kids that are coming out of college that have spent 6 figures on a college education in a field that they cannot get a job in.
Liberal arts.
Right.
Baskin Weaving doesn't pay what it used to.
Right. I know in our family we have told all the nieces, nephews, my brothers are on the same page with me. If you go to college, you're taking something that's been relevant for the last 2,000 years. So business, engineering, something that you can actually go out into the world and get a job with. Okay, something that is applicable to what society needs. Again, not women's studies, African American studies. You can go to Barnes and Nobles and study that, okay, for a heck of a lot less than college tuition.
I got my degree in philosophy. I wasn't able to get a job, but I know why. Be right back.